Hello there, and welcome to the 11th episode of Creating Heads in Fusion 360. Typically, before I start editing, I watch a high-speed playthrough of the video to get the gist of what I'll be talking about. Having watched the footage, I now know that this is one of the more important videos, since it sets a precedent of what we will be doing for the largest portion of our time. In this episode, we'll be covering all the most important requisite information needed for a successful model. We will begin at the forehead. We're spacing out our lines evenly since the forehead is relatively flat. Remember what I said before. From the front view, imagine the surface as a topographical map. If the surface is flat or the angle of elevation is constant, the lines should remain equidistant of each other. You should only have lines that aren't equidistant, where they're either getting closer together or further apart near transition surfaces, like the area where the cheek blends into the nose. Maintaining equidistant perimeter vertices is paramount as we progress with the model. Or put more simply, the lines around the edge of the face should be all roughly the same length. It makes it easier for us when we transition from a face to a head. If you look at our outer edge of the face, you'll see that our surface isn't too close to it, and this isn't by design, rather it's a flaw or a habit I can't seem to shake. But to fix this, we can simply select our perimeter and use our explode tool to alter the width. As I've said before, zooming out is necessary. You need to understand how your small alterations affect the whole model. Upon inspection, we can see that the nostrils are in dire need of our help. When modelling the nose, you must recognise that they vary from person to person. Our subject has a nose of about medium difficulty. My own nose is straight and probably the simplest type of nose to shape. Button noses, thin noses, crooked noses, they all offer a challenge. Notice as I'm working from this angle, I can't use a canvas to model, but if I apply the general rule of creating tension in the lines, then I know I'll be much closer to the end result than when I started. I must adjust the nostrils. These are the features that I used to struggle with, since I tried to take them far up into the nose, much farther than I needed. I now realise they're a simple feature. Moving on to the chin, we want to restore some tension, but also we need to think about the jawline. Some people have a really pronounced one, others not so much. In an ideal model, you would have a line that followed where the jaw was supposed to be. In reality though, with this method there will be features that won't match your surface lines, so be prepared to adjust a lot. The region surrounding the lips, either side of the septum, can be tedious as well, since our canvas views don't give us much detail to their shape. This is why I recommend modelling someone you know. If you're stuck on which bit to work on next, just go to the area that looks the worst. By zooming out, I can see clearly the cheeks are completely wrong and needing some work. And I'm not just talking about the model. But I am though. I'll just speed up some of our cheek modelling. All I'm doing is creating tension in those lines. That looks a bit better. Returning to the nose, we want to improve the shape. Since the canvas photo is in 2D, we need to translate its image into 3D. The shadows in the image are helpful, but if you're struggling, know this. I can't exactly picture his nose in 3D. I can't remember what it looks like off the top of my head. I'm not sure if the next modification takes me one step forward towards improving the nose. However, I do notice when my modifications take me one step backward. What I'm saying is, it's easier to see when you're going wrong than when you're going right. And using that logic, if I edit the model and I can see that it's getting worse, I do the opposite, knowing I'm probably making it better. For the rest of the video, we will proceed at double speed. That's looking a bit better. Actually, let's make that triple speed instead. Okay. Zoom out frequently to see what you're doing. I wouldn't say it so much if it weren't so important. If you observe closely from the side, you can see that our surface doesn't quite align with our canvas. You have two options. Number one, you move the surface, or number two, you alter the canvases. If this were later on in the process of modelling, I would certainly just alter the surface, since it's easier to do. but in this case I opt to edit the canvases, since they aren't quite lined up right. Making sure they are perfectly aligned, although time consuming, does save you a lot of time overall. And don't be alarmed by my recalibration of the canvases either. Typically at the start of a model, I would spend a long time calibrating, but for the sake of footage, I operated faster than I usually would, hence why I'm now having to resolve the errors. Also, if I were a bit smarter and had had a little more foresight, I would have held up a ruler or some reference point while taking the photos of my subject to calibrate the canvas, to make calibrating easier. So we're approaching the end of this episode. I'm hoping you're still enjoying the content. As we progress, I might start uploading episodes with me being silent for the vast majority of the video. Obviously I'll find some music so the videos aren't complete torture, and when there's a key bit of information I'll step in. But I found the editing to be quite time consuming, and at the moment I really need to be focusing more on my business, Joyous 3D. I hope you understand. If in these quieter episodes there is something that you wanted explaining, I'll be happy to answer your queries. Just chat them in the comment section. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.